Blueberries and chicken. This is a match made in the upside down, or in this case, in the world of Eden Zero.
We made some really weird things on the channel, but the Cureberry Chicken from Eden Zero, it takes the chicken cake.
To make blueberries and chicken come together in a way that I didn't think possible, I had to use my best resource, culinary artistry. This book helps you pair up flavors with existing ingredients. So in this case, chicken and blueberries both go with thyme, lemon, and cream. The first thing we're going to be making is our blueberry base for this blueberry cream sauce. Now in the world's cutest saucepan, we are going to add around 250 to 300 grams worth of very fresh blueberries, or you can use frozen if you have them. Stop eating the fresh blueberries. They are delicious though. Hey, come back here. Don't walk away with those. We need those. To this, we're adding around 40 grams worth of sugar, about 40 grams worth of water. Try to mash them up with a spoon. You could have used literally anything else to do this. Now we got to let this come up to a simmer, and once it does, we have to reduce the heat just a touch so this way it starts to reduce. But look at how purple this is. This looks nothing like blue. After almost boiling it over, let this rest and reduce for the next 10 to 15 minutes. But we got to fix this blue color.
I don't know, maybe food coloring? We use food coloring, maybe?
Food coloring aside, after your sauce has reduced, we're going to add in some lemon thyme. You can also add in just some regular thyme, but I had lemon thyme from my neighbor, so this was a really cool ingredient. Next up is a bit of lemon that you're absolutely going to decimate on the cutting board for some reason. Cut that juicy lemon in half and then juice it directly into your sauce. At this point, your sauce should not be on the heat. You don't want any more heat once you add that lemon juice. Back away, let it cool down room temperature. Just back away. Once it cools down, you can place this into whatever container you want. I'm just using a mason jar and trying to fight to do it.
I always do this. I always do this to myself.
After finally figuring out how to pour your blueberry sauce through a strainer into a jar like you've done countless times, you want to pull a ludicrous and make sure you remove any sticks or seeds. This is going to make it super smooth for when we make our blueberry cream sauce later. I just dated myself with a ludicrous comment, didn't I?
There's no way I'm not trying this right now. Oh, that's fantastic.
Bro, don't drink blueberry jam. What are you doing? Now that I'm hyped on jam, let me talk to you about Vessi. Vessi asked me if I wanted to try out their waterproof, easy to clean, sustainably made everyday sneaker. Of course, I'm gonna put it through the ringer.
So my feet definitely don't feel wet, but I'm about to take my shoes off in front of this Starbucks and just see if my socks are actually wet. There's not even water on the outside of them now, and they're like totally dry on the inside. I mean, come on.
Since Vessis are waterproof, I put them through the test. After jumping through a bunch of puddles, I hopped on my free skates to test out the grip, and it held up so well. I busted them out on my one wheel to go around town puddle jumping, and they performed just as well.
These people think I'm nuts.
I might be nuts, but at least my feet are dry. I would never ever do this with another regular pair of shoes. There's just no way. Vessis are the true everyday shoe. They're good enough for the summer and the winter, and that means a lot in the PNW.
After puddle jumping all day with my Vessis, my feet are dry and the inside of these are still dry. If you guys want to pick up a pair, which I highly recommend you do at this point, check out the links down below. They're going to give you $25 off your first order, and I'm going to take my hand out of my shoe. Thank you to Vessi for sponsoring this video.
Now back to whatever this really is. Next, we need to get our chicken ready to sear and roast off. And we're not just using one chicken breast. We are going to be using 2 chicken breasts. These chicken breasts are from Costco, so they are massive. Try to match up the fatter side to the thinner side, so this way it cooks more evenly. I ended up having to tuck in the thinner sides because these chicken breasts were so out of proportion, I just couldn't deal with it. So to help fix that, I put some plastic wrap over it and then pounded the hell out of it to get it nice and thin. Mash those 2 pounded chicken breasts back up and then accept your reality for what it really is.
This is a lot of chicken. This is a ridiculous amount of chicken.
After realizing that every Costco chicken is actually like 3 different chickens combined into one chicken, we're able to roll our chicken together and then start trussing it to make sure it's nicely tied for when we go to sear and roast it. This is not the best tie job, I will fully admit.
It's not perfect, okay? It is 8:30 in the morning and the coffee hasn't kicked in yet. I apologize.
Season this with a ton of black pepper and a few heavy pinches of salt. Make sure you remove all the seasoning off the cutting board because that's effective. And this is ready to sear in a lightly greased cast iron pan.
Medium heat. There's no vent above me. The vent's over there and it's a microwave and I hate it. This is gonna be so good. This is like half my protein for the day. Kind of ridiculous.
I'm glad the coffee kicked in for someone.
The coffee has kicked in.
Because it is currently 6:30 in the morning and I am doing this voiceover. Sear this chicken on all sides until they are nicely golden brown and delicious all the way around.
This takes time. So does cleaning the house after this.
Good thing you'll have time after you probe your chicken. Now probe your chicken and set your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to cook this chicken to 158 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 45 minutes, which gives you plenty of time to now clean up. And we can finally move on to making whatever this actually is. And whatever that actually is a parsnip. I'm gonna be using 1 whole parsnip, just make sure it's nicely cleaned and peeled. Trim off any excess weird ends, and we're gonna take this and try to bend it into shape, but that's just not gonna work. We need a solution.
Oh, I have an idea.
It always worries me when he says, I have have an idea. But we're gonna take our parsnip as well as a couple of pieces of broccoli and blanch these in some salted boiling water. Remember, the broccoli is gonna cook a lot faster than the parsnip, so pay attention.
I overdid it on the water for sure. This is why I don't cook before 10. It is 9:52.
I thought you said the coffee kicked in. Either way, just make sure you pull out the broccoli before they overcook and place them into your ice water to cool down. You'll know that the parsnip is done cooking if you can insert a toothpick, a knife, or a fork into it without any resistance. Almost lose the toothpick to the boiling water, remove the parsnip from that boiling water, placing it into your ice bath. What are you doing right now with the camera? Are you? Oh, okay. You're manually adjusting it. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Now remove that hot boiling water over to the sink to drain. Check the parsnip for elasticity. Why would parsnips have elasticity?
It's done. Chicken's done. Meter's yelling at me.
Now after removing your chicken from the oven, this thing needs to rest, but let us appreciate how beautiful it looks. Remove your probe from your chicken and let this rest on the plate with all of your other vegetables so you don't have to get anything else dirty. Take that parsnip, place it into that pan that had the chicken in it, and pop this back into the oven for about 5 minutes. Now to finally make the blueberry cream sauce for the Cureberry chicken, which is going to top off all the things that we need. In the world's cutest saucepan, add 250 milliliters worth of heavy cream, followed by a few heavy spoonfuls of that blueberry sauce we made earlier. Give this a nice whisk over a low heat.
It's not blue, so we got blue. I don't normally like using this, but I have no other choice.
The only other choice we actually would have had was using the blue butterfly tea to make somewhat of a base, but it wouldn't have tasted good with all the other ingredients, so I am opting in using a bit of food coloring. Once you have that really nice blue going on, season it with a bit of salt and then add in a few teaspoons of cornstarch slurry to make sure that this thing thickens up. Remember, this needs to be a sauce that sits on top of that chicken, and now we are ready to finally plate this thing up. Remove your mangled bit of twine from your chicken, remove the parsnip from the oven, and hey, don't eat that. We need this, man. What are you doing? Trim the parsnip, making some nice... Stop eating the parsnip. This is definitely not safe for work.
Hello? Can I come in?
Insert your parsnip into the crevasse of the chicken, making sure that it is nicely... I can't even... Just get the parsnip in there.
Maybe something like that. It just looks like the chicken breast ate the parsnip.
I don't know if I'd say ate the parsnip.
I mean, sure, why not?
To get the parsnip to bend the way I wanted it to, I had to cut a little notch out of the parsnip, then grab myself a toothpick and insert it through the top and push it through until it connected to the second half of that parsnip. In hindsight, I should have used a bigger stick.
Come on.
We also have to lodge this piece of broccoli into the top of this.
Is that even gonna hold the weight?
It definitely isn't gonna hold the weight, so I had to trim that broccoli down, so this way it was a little lighter, and this allowed me to get that broccoli stuck on there. Even with that lighter broccoli, it still needed some help.
You have to reinforce it.
I employed the use of a second toothpick number 2, to make sure that that broccoli held in place with that parsnip. Now to get extra blueberry flavor on the chicken, I brushed the top of the chicken with that blueberry sauce we had made earlier. Place this onto your plate, and now we're going to dip the broccoli that we already lodged onto the parsnip into our blueberry cream sauce, affixing it back onto the parsnip, and it would have been wise to do this the other way, making sure that you actually had it dipped before the first time. Then layer a hefty amount of your blueberry cream lemon thyme sauce on top of your chicken, trying to make it look as close as you can to the show, but feel free to just do a little drizzle on top. Appreciate the goopiness that is this sauce. And that is the Cureberry Chicken from Eden Zero for some reason.
Apparently this is the best Cureberry in Grand Bell, and Shiki just does one of these, so cheers. It's actually really good. Does it taste like blueberries? Not really. It tastes like blueberry bechamel, which is really surprisingly nice. The chicken's great. If you want to see some other weird stuff, I made a Sakuna finger and gave it to Sakuna's voice actor. My name is Chef PK, and remember, keep playing with your food.